in the Lord. There is victory, there is victory, there is victory in the Lord. There is victory, there is victory, there is victory in the Lord. Thy salvation, salvation, thy salvation in the Lord. Salvation, thy salvation, thy salvation in the Lord. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah in His name. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah in His name. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Once again, we've come to the second service on the Good Friday to celebrate and remember the crucifixion of our Savior Jesus Christ, how He died, bled and died on the cross of agony, and He took the punishments that was not due to Him. Remember you and I to do the work of salvation. So we continue from the last time we stopped. Matthew chapter 27, verses 32 to 38. Matthew 27, verses 32 to 38. And it starts by saying that as they came out, they found a man of Cyrene, Simon by name, and they compelled him to bear his cross. Now before that, we had read that Pilate had ordered that he be scourged before being crucified. And verse 27 says, the soldiers of the governor took Jesus to the common hall and gathered to him the whole band of soldiers, and they stripped him and put on him a scarlet robe. And when they had planted a crown of thorns, they put it upon his head, and a reed in his right hand, and they bowed the knee before him and mocked him, saying, Hail, King of the Jews! And they spat upon him and took the reed and smote him on the head. And after that they mocked him, they took the robe off him and put his own raiment on him, and led him away to crucify him. Most of us forget this crown of thorns. In case you don't know what it is, they made out of thorns a stem or a branch of thorns, very sharp, spiky thorns, and they made it into a crown, and they forced it on his head. That meant that those sharp thorns would have pierced his skull and gone into the scalp of his head. Can you imagine the pain and agony our Lord went through? And that was even before the beating. So already was bleeding from his head down. Then they began to mock him, spat on him. Another gospel says that they pulled out his beard and they beat him on the head with a rod. All that was before they tied him to the whipping pole to beat him with the crown of 9 tails that stripped off his skin. All these punishments Jesus took. Now the other people were crucified with him, and normally they would not do that to any other person. Crucifixion was a form of punishment designed by the Romans. It was not ordained by God, it was not done by the Jews. They are the only people who devised that form of crucifixion. It was a very painful way to kill somebody. It was also a very disgraceful way because they were crucified naked. But they would not normally beat or scourge somebody before crucifixion. That was only done in the case of Jesus, again to add more to his punishment for our sins. The Bible says that God laid upon him the iniquity of us all. So every murder that's been committed, every robbery, every hatred, every witchcraft, every form of evil that's been done, the punishment for all those sins are put on one man, Jesus. And you and I cannot imagine what he went through. All these pictures we see of Jesus on the cross, it was actually very far from that. Those who have seen him in his true form claim that his body was totally torn to shreds, and it was a bloody mess. In fact, the Bible says that he was mad more than any other human being. That's Isaiah 52, I think. That was the truth. It was mad, it was bloody, it was beaten. more than any human being. Now, only Jesus could have taken that kind of beating. Any other human would have died long before. That's the reason why he could take it was because death could not claim Jesus because he was sinless. Had he had sin, he would have died long before they finished the beating. But because he was sinless, he could not die. Only he could give up his life, which is what he did eventually. Death could not kill Jesus. No matter what they did to him, he would not have died. Because that angel of death can only claim somebody with sin, like you and I. So after they beat him, and one of the punishments they did to the people they crucified was to ask them to carry that cross to the place where they were going to be crucified. And everybody would see them carry that cross. They form more disgrace, more embarrassments. Now the cross was not a small thing by any means. It was 9 feet tall and 6 feet across. And it was made of heavy wood because they had to put it in the ground. And so the wood was very heavy. The cross itself was very heavy. So it was added punishment to ask somebody to carry the cross. Somebody who had been beaten, it would have been very difficult. Unless somebody who had been beaten and bled profusely. So he got to a stage, as he was carrying his cross, that Jesus could no longer carry that cross. Because he had bled so much, there was no power left in him. So what the person of the Christ would see, that he was bleeding, and they found this Simon of Cyrene who was passing by, and they forced him to carry the cross of Jesus for him. What a privilege. That man, by doing that, he would have opened a door for himself in the kingdom of heaven. Because to have to carry the cross of the Son of God is a rare privilege. And he was also a black man. So the blacks have a special place in the heart of God because of that. As he represented all of us, and we carried the cross of our Savior for him when he was too weak to carry on that mission. Let's go to Acts 7:58. Go to Mark 15:21. Mark 15:21. Go there. Mark 15:21 says, okay, it says the Son of Man did go out as it's written about him, but was that man when the Son of Man is betrayed? Would worry that for that man if I'd never been born. So, okay, did you read Pastor Acts 7:58?
Mark 15:21.
No, I read that already.
And they compelled a certain man,
Okay.
a Simon, a Syrian,
Mm-hmm.
the father of Alexander and Rufus,
Yes.
as he was coming out of the country
Mm-hmm.
and passing by,
Yes.
to bear his cross.
That's it. The father of Rufus, they forced him and he carried the cross. Well, his life will never be the same after that. Then they came to the place called the skull, called Golgotha. Golgotha means the place of the skull. It means the place of death. A mysterious place where they killed people. And that was where he was crucified. And they gave him vinegar to drink, mingled with gall. And why did they do that? Well, they did that to further increase his punishment, because now anybody who has lost blood knows that they always feel very, very thirsty. If you've lost blood in any way, you'll be extremely thirsty. You want to drink water. It's because of the blood you've lost. Now, they knew Jesus was thirsty for a drink, and they said, let's increase his suffering. Instead of them to give him water, they gave him vinegar, which is a very acidic solution, and that would make him even more thirsty. So when he tasted it, he refused to drink it. You can see that at this stage, even it was still functioning. He was able to taste, he was able to say no, even though he had bled and lost so much blood, because he knew that would even make his punishment more bitter. See, the vinegar mixed with gall, so increase his thirst and increase his punishments. That was Psalm 69, verse 21. All these things that happened to Jesus, they've been prophesied in the book of Psalms. Psalm 22, verse 18, Psalm 61, and Psalm 69. How they gave him vinegar. King David had seen that in a vision and wrote about it and written about it. Psalm 69, 21. Yeah.
They also gave me gall for my food,
You see?
and for my thirst they gave me vinegar.
See? So he had already seen that. Again, Jesus confirmed that whatever happened to him had been prophesied, and he only fulfilled what had been prophesied about him. It says, they crucified him and parted his garments, casting lots. Well, why did they cast lots? Whenever they crucified anybody, the soldiers who crucified that person had a right to that person's property, whatever belonged to him. He had a right to take it. So in this case, Jesus had only one garment. It was a woven garment for all his whole body. It was one piece. So they could not divide it amongst themselves. So they had to cast lots, like the dice, to determine who will get his garments. That's what they mean, that they cast lots. So who will get this garment? There are 4 of us here who did this work. All of us have the right to his property, but he only has one property, and that is garment. That garment is one piece. So we can't divide one garment. It would be useless if we did that. And all they could do is cast out to determine who would get his garments. And again, this was a fulfillment of prophecy. He said, they parted my garments among them, and upon my vesture they cast lots. My vesture they cast lots. That's Psalm 22, verse 18. King David also saw that in the spiritual realm. And they did not divide it. It was only one piece garment, and they cast lots for it. And so again, that's a fulfillment of prophecy. And they sat down and watched him, waiting for him to die. And once he died, they would take down his body and went and threw his body somewhere for burial. There's a setup over his head, his accusation. This is Jesus, the King of the Jews, because that's what he said. Then Pilate questioned him. He said, you have said it. He said, are you the King of the Jews? I said, you said it. There's other 2 thieves crucified with him, one on the right and one on the left. And we don't, what did you let her in? Yes. They crucified him right on the left, one on the right and one on the left. So, we know that one of the thief on the right was the one that was delivered before Jesus died. And Jesus told him that he would meet him in paradise. On that day, the one on the left was the one who reviled him and told him that Jesus should release them from where that he should get them from the cross. He only wanted his own freedom. He didn't want salvation. He didn't want to repent. So we see the picture of our Lord Jesus Christ as he was crucified, and we took all the pains, all the sufferings for our sins. Let's go to the book of Isaiah 53 to see the meaning of the cross. Prophet Isaiah was shown what happened at the cross of Calvary. Let's start from verse 1. It says, who had believed our reports, and to whom is the arm of the Lord revealed? For he shall grow up before him, that's verse 2, Isaiah 53, verse 2, as a tender plant, as a root out of a dry ground. He had no form nor comeliness, and where we shall see him, there is no beauty that we should desire. Again, he talks of the cross. There is no beauty, because somewhere think that when they see Jesus, they will know that it's Jesus. No. There was no beauty that you should desire him. There was nothing extraordinary about him. He said he was despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief, and we hid as it were our faces from him. He was despised and we esteemed him not. See, he faced a lot of sorrow in his life. He was rejected of men. He was a man full of sorrows and acquainted with grief. We tend to think that because Jesus was a miracle worker, that he lived a life of abundance and joy. No, it was the opposite. And, he lived a life of loneliness and rejection, even before the cross. The cross was just the end point of his sufferings. Throughout his life, he suffered a great deal because his own family rejected him and people hid their faces from him. You know, they didn't rejoice, they didn't join him in celebration like that. No, they hid because he was despised. It says, surely he had borne our griefs. That was, he carried our griefs. What was causing our grief, that's what he carried on himself. And he carried our sorrows. Yet, we did esteem him stricken, smitten of God, and afflicted. In other words, people thought that he was justly punished for what he was going through. They felt that he was a sinner, and that's what he deserved. They did not know that he was dying and taking the penalty for sins he did not commit, the innocent for the guilty. So all we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned everyone to his own way, and the Lord had laid on him the iniquity of us all. You see, the Lord had laid on him the iniquity of us all. That means that he was the scapegoat. He had no sin, but he served the punishment for the sins of every human being that were existing then or that will be in the future. That was every possible sin that man could commit. Jesus already paid the price for it. That's why he said it is finished on the cross. He finished the work of salvation, meaning that there was nothing left for man to do to be saved. There was nothing left for man to do to be redeemed. There was nothing left for man to do to have victory over Satan. It was all done on the cross of Calvary. See, so it is finished. You don't have to do anything, or you don't have to add to the work. You don't have to. No. If you can really touch the cross of Christ and believe in it, there is no human problem that was not solved on that cross. And there is no sickness that was not healed, or the payment for the healing was not paid on the cross. It says, all we like sheep went astray. That was it. Nobody cared about him. Everyone went their own way. And the Lord said, you are going to pay the price for their own sins. He was oppressed, he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. We see that when Pilate questioned him, he marveled that he did not even reply to the accusers. He's brought as a lamb to the slaughter, and the sheep before our shears is dumb, so he opened not his mouth. He was taken from prison and from judgment, and who shall declare his generation? For he was cut off out of the land of the living. For the transgression of my people was he stricken. See? For the transgression of you and I, it was our sins that nailed Jesus to the cross. He did not commit any sin. I said he made his grave with the wicked and with the rich in his death, because he had done no violence, and there was any deceit in his mouth. Yes, it pleased the Lord to bruise him. He had put him to grief. When thou shalt make his soul an offering for sin, he shall see his sin, shall prolong his days, and his pleasure, the pleasure of the Lord shall prosper in his hand. He shall see of the travail of his soul, and shall be satisfied. By his knowledge shall my righteous servant justify many. This is exactly what the cross did. We are justified, for he shall bear their iniquities. Therefore will I divide him a portion with the great, and shall divide the spoil with the strong, because he poured out his soul unto death, and he was numbered with the transgressors. And he bare the sins of many, and made intercession for the transgressors. What beautiful words! Beautiful words! Isaiah the prophet saw this years before it happened, and he wrote about it, and we see it being manifested in the New Testament. So we thank God for those words of life today. Thank God for the sacrifice he paid. Let us pray. Jehovah Jesus Christ, Father of all love, Father of all mercy, thank you that Lord Jesus Christ did not come from the cross, despite the beatings, despite the punishments, despite the marring of his body, that he agreed to carry our sorrows and bear our griefs, and through that we are justified, we are saved, we are redeemed. Thank God for that blood that was shed for us. Father, let the work of the cross not be in vain in us today, Let that walk bring to salvation many who are lost today, many who are in darkness, many who don't know what they're going to do, many who are walking in fear. Let them come to the cross. For you said in your word that come unto me, all you that labor and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Learn of me, if I'm gentle and easy, and you find rest for your souls. My yoke is easy, and my burden is light. Father, receive our yoke today. Give us a life, give us a light. Just let me pray. Amen, amen, in Jesus' name. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Glory to God. Peace and love.